God bless you and welcome to my channel. Have you been recently diagnosed with cancer? Stick around. Getting a cancer diagnosis is not an easy thing. And if you recently got diagnosed with cancer, you probably are going through a lot of emotions, a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of things are going through your mind at this moment. However, if you recently been diagnosed with cancer, I understand what you're going through right now. It is a devastating news to get. So I understand what you're going through right now because I was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer in October of 2023. So I understand how you're feeling and what you're going through. In this channel, what we're going to talk about is the things I've done so far that have taken me to this point. Things that have helped me with my therapy, with the quality of life that I have right now. And I'm probably going to have to make a few videos in order for me to explain all the things that I've done that have helped me out pretty good. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. In October of 2023, I was just enjoying my weekend, sitting on my recliner, and I always had this little discomfort on the lower back, on my back, on my right side, and I never knew what it was, so I wanted to find out. And I told my wife, I'm going to go to the immediate care and have this checked out. So when I got to the immediate care, the doctor had me lay down, and she did her typical check that they do by pressing on your abdomen. And there was a couple of areas that when she pressed, it really hurt. So I could see it in her face that she thought that something might be wrong. So immediately she recommended for me to go to the hospital to have a CT scan done. And she said, once the scan is done, just go home and I will contact you with the results. So I went home. 2 hours later, I got the phone call from the doctor, and she said that you might have cancer, but I want you to schedule an appointment to go see the oncologist and your primary physician also. So I scheduled the appointment. However, I didn't make it to the appointment because one day before the appointment, I had a bowel obstruction, and I had to go to the emergency room to get this checked out. And while I was there, 2 days after, they did the first or the second CAT scan. And that night, the doctors came and talked to me, and they said, okay, this is the you do have colorectal cancer. You have a couple of tumors in different spots throughout your large intestine, and it's an aggressive type of cancer. It is called signet ring, and it is very aggressive, and the life expectancy with this type of cancer is 6 months to 2 years. 6 months without treatment, without chemotherapy, or without anything, and 2 years if you do the chemotherapy. So, I said, okay, thank you. And me being a believer, it didn't really bother me. Me speaking for myself, I know it's a big not a big, but it's a very extreme uh, set of news or information, that they're just been thrown at you. So thankfully, I've been a believer since the age of 12 years old. So I want to tell you the first things that I did, and the first thing that helped me with to cope with the diagnosis that I had just received, and it was to think that we are all mortals, and this is me, my point of view, my view on of things and life itself. We are all mortal, and um, at some point, we all have to meet that appointment. We all have, and nobody's going to escape it. We all have to, unfortunately, pass on. And knowing that, it gave me some sort of relief. But it didn't bother me much. I just, it was like nothing was said to me, fortunately. But not everybody's the same. So in this video and on subsequent videos that I'll be making, I'm going to give you step by step of what I've been doing. And I'm not saying that what I've been doing will work for you, but it might help you, or it might give you ideas on doing your own research and coming up with uh, your own plan on how to have a good quality of life while you're having treatment. And on this video, I'm not going to tell you not to take your treatment. Of course, the first thing you have to do is seek professional help and uh, look for the standard of care. So, in any case, I'm going to make a list of everything I've done so far. They have given me a good quality of life, and it has made me feel very good. And it will be impossible for me to do it on one video, so I'm probably going to be doing, as I said, subsequent videos about each individual strategy or each individual thing that I have tried that have worked for me. And I'll go into details on telling you how that has worked for me. And with that said, it would be nice if you can just either subscribe to the channel and give me the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss all this information. It might be of some help, I hope. But like I said, each cancer is different, which I didn't know. And each individual cancer has different treatments. For instance, some cancers you're treating it with chemotherapy, some others with immunotherapy or radiation. So, with that said, the things that I'm doing for my type of cancers may not work with the type of cancer you have. However, it'll give you an idea on the things that you may do to have a good quality of life. So the number one thing that I did that helped me out is to turn to God. As a believer, all our hope is in God and in our Lord Jesus Christ. And that's the first thing that I did. And actually, that really helped. It helps a lot. It gives you a peace of mind, and it relaxes you and it gives you peace. The second thing, I pray a lot. Second thing is fasting and the type of radiation or chemotherapy you're receiving, things like diet and exercise, but we're gonna go through all that, like I said, in separate videos. In this video, I just wanted to tell you my story, how I was diagnosed, and the things that I've been doing, and how I accepted the news, and the first thing that I did. The first thing, like I said, was to talk to God and put my life in His hands. And I believe that that helped me a lot. So God first, and then we're gonna talk about the rest of the other alternative medicine that I did. And by no means I'm telling you or suggesting for you to leave the standard of care. Of course, most of these natural alternative therapies, they work in conjunction with the chemotherapy or radiation or immunotherapies. And always inform your oncologist before you try anything, before you take any supplements, or before you try any therapies or anything. You need to have a full disclosure with your oncologist and make sure that they know, because some of these therapies or some of these supplements may interact with the type of care you're getting. You might be having chemotherapy, and if you try, say for instance, some supplement, it might interact and might render the therapy ineffective. And we don't want that. And by no means I'm suggesting that in this channel. I would never do that. So like I mentioned before, the purpose for this channel is for you to kind of think outside the box and look for alternative therapies, alternative options out there that might help you have a better quality of life, and why not perhaps extend your life for a little bit longer. So just keep tuned, and I'll keep posting videos and very informative stuff that I'll be putting in. Over here on the screen on my right, you'll see that I'm going to post a list of subsequent videos and new titles that'll be coming up, and I'll be talking about these things individually, how I research this, how it's working for me, and I also will be talking about the things that have not worked for me, for my particular type of cancer that I have. I'm not saying that the things that don't work for me will not work for you. They might. And so stay tuned. Okay, and keep the faith, and just don't worry about anything.